Boy, do we love Fridays. Fridays are a great day here on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, Sportsnet 360, and Sportsnet Plus. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Derek Brandeo, Jake the Snake Schultz with you for the next 2 hours. Usually we dedicate this Friday as Off the Rails Friday, but we will call it Back on the Rails Friday for our boy Sammy McKee.
Well said.
Who is back on the rails.
I'm back. Yeah, it's just overwhelming relief.
Yeah.
Like that is, I mean, there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of happiness, there's a lot of emotions that you feel after your favorite team wins a playoff series. But what was lurking around the corner, to just have it look like that and have it be done with, relief. And I'm sure all my Leaf fan brothers and sisters are feeling the exact same thing today. Thank God they did it. Relief.
You know, you may be one of the not a loves to win guy, but a hates to lose guy.
I do hate to lose.
Yeah.
But I will talk a lot about everything that happened in the game last night, but that was a great moment for a lot of Leaf Nation. It just great game, intense, and the right team came out on top for a lot of Leaf fans. I'm just very relieved and very happy. And I'm thankful. So many people reached out to me.
I can't imagine. I got people reaching out to me about you.
Like, people were genuinely worried about me after yesterday, and I think it's fair listening back to some of the stuff I said. And I just appreciate people caring about me. So thank you.
In no way, shape, or form do we promote smoking on this show, but did you have your celebrated
I did
dart?
I did have a victory dart, yeah. It was so sweet. It was so sweet. I did at least talk with my great friends, JD and Justin. And
what are we going to do next round with this guy?
Just one around. That's it. I don't need one. Just one around.
If that's it, maybe just two. Maybe two for the next round. By the end of it, we can see
I have a pack that's sitting away, and when they win another round, if they win another round, considering who the next matchup is, it'll be one more dart.
Okay.
Did last night, Game 6, play out the way we've kind of envisioned it throughout the regular season, and style of play to a T last night?
I mean, it played out almost exactly how we said it would, could, should. You know, that the Leafs defense is very good and should keep the opposing team's number down and away from their net. The goaltender can make essaves saves, and that should keep them in the game long enough that a couple of their guys can shoot a couple in, and that ended up being exactly what happened. Nylander ends up with 2 and 1 for 3 on his birthday, which is pretty cool. Almost didn't get in the lineup after that little lineup snafu. Matthews and Marner get a point, and everyone's record improves to 2 and 13 in those 15 elimination games.
All right, let's take it right off the bat with Craig Berube and his thoughts, overview of the game.
I thought, loved our start. They made a pretty good push in the second, I thought, but overall, I thought it was a solid game by everybody. I think our captain led us the way.
There you go.
Berube straight off a Peloton for that interview, or he's fired up?
I watched the little state-controlled media, the propaganda of the Leaf after, and he was pretty fired up in the room.
Yeah.
Really, just highlighting, not like too fired up, not over the top, but really highlighting all the stuff that happened for them to get there. So he probably came straight off that with a lot of breath.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Awesome.
It is it's clear that he wants to dictate the vibe, right? I think he set the tone even going into Game 6. There's a lot of, and we'll get into this, what I'm sure that he described to his team as the outside noise, but we're going to stay calm, cool, and collected here. Whether we win this thing in 4, 5, 6, or 7 games is almost irrelevant. The bottom line is we just win.
Yeah.
And I think we kind of heard that from some of the players after that. There was no panic in here, and the vibe is led by Craig.
Yeah, and one of the quotes that he gave us yesterday was, "All I hear around here is core, 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 but it's not about the core; it's about team." And that's something I wrote about today for Sportsnet.ca. Was just
that's him alleviating whatever past pressure they've felt.
Yeah. And like trying to separate it from
Yeah.
the Team A and Team B that we've highlighted for so many years. You get big blocks from Lawton. Domi has another moment. Pacioretty shoots one in the net. You know, Benoit and so many guys who you wouldn't have expected to be important were really important for the Leafs in the series in the end. And they ended up being not just a team with the more elite talent, but the more complete team, top to bottom, I think, when it all shook out.
You know, I guess I feel like I'm bringing up Sheldon Keefe a lot in this. But
Well, he was here for a lot of years where the hurt happened.
What you reference to the differences between Berube and the previous coach. And I think Sheldon Keefe probably would have made some lineup changes going into that game, into game 6. If they had gone up 3-0 and they lost 2 in a row and they were facing all the stuff, I'm sure that he would have made some changes.
Yeah.
And he probably would have been okay, rightfully so. We would have been okay with it. But the veteran coach who's trying not to let things get in the way, he's trying to have a sense of calm, leaves the veteran in there. Not only leaves Pacioretty in there, elevates him, and he has the puck land on his stick in the slot, and he shoots it in.
Yeah.
That's a credit to the coach. It just is. Like, you can't take anything away from Berube on that. That's an unbelievable moment for the coach. It is.
And for the team, it was also an unbelievable moment that
they haven't had.
They're in control of the game until they're not in control of the game, and it was a bad goal. It was a bad goal late in the third period that had a lot of people going, oh, here we go. And to come back on that goal and that play and not take it into overtime and close it out was a big moment for the hockey club. Like that shows part of the poise. That shows part of we're not going to find a way to lose this. And, you know, it was a bad goal on Stolarz.
Sure.
We just don't see those type of goals going all year. And again, maybe it's the fact that he's a little tired maybe, but he went down way too early. Sunken shoulders, stick down, left all of the upstairs open. And that's the goal that if Ottawa takes to game 7 here, we're leading, talking about Joseph Wall starting.
Yeah, and that, you know, I had nightmares of the way that Boston ended up almost blowing their series, and they went away from Ullmark and went to Swayman in game 7. And is it too late at that point? That it would have been a tough call what to do at that point. I do want to add to the idea of giving Berube credit because I thought McMahon was awesome in the game. He was all over the puck on the forecheck. I do my little notes as I write. At least 5 or 6 times I have, 74 FC arrow up, as in like good forecheck. He was on the puck, turning over pucks, elevates him, and Pacioretty doesn't pout, keeps playing when he gets on the third line. And Berube shows the confidence to play his third line in a moment like that where suddenly it's 2-2 with 5-6 minutes left. Domi line goes out in their regular shift, and showing that faith in these guys, they got rewarded for it.
All right, let's go to Craig Berube on sticking with Max Pacioretty.
Just how happy are you that you stuck with Max Pacioretty, and what do you think that moment means for him?
Well, it's a lot. I mean, it's a huge goal, obviously. And, I thought, he had some opportunities early. He hit the post there in the first, maybe. Had a nice play on Willie's goal with a good stick, broke a play up. He did a real good job for us. And veteran guy's been around, playing a lot of playoff games, so he came through tonight for us.
God, that post he hit in the first period felt like a nightmare waiting.
Yeah, you know what also felt like a nightmare was his icing, the bad icing.
Oh, did I put that in our group chat? I hated that.
No, he made a horrific pass that led to a unnecessary icing.
Yeah.
That led to Morgan Riley taking a penalty.
Trapped Riley, Benoit, Domi, their worst 5 defensive guys were out after that. Yeah.
The worst. But way more pros than that moment, right? Yeah. Throughout the hockey game.
Yeah.
And
that's it.
I blocked that one out. I forgot about that. That was bad.
That one I thought for sure.
He's certainly earned his right to start, but there's also that at times he's not quick-footed. At times it could look like he's caught a little flat-footed. That's the danger sometimes. But as far as in those key moments on where to kind of wait for a pass, he's as good as anybody, on the Leaf roster. It just needs the one moment, and he got it.
Yeah, he's got a quote where he says basically that he thinks slower players have more success in playoffs. He's like, because they're used to not having time and space. And he's like, so for someone like him, this game is kind of like...
It worked, at least for one moment for him.
Yeah, it did. We actually have a couple of quotes from him. We got him on his potential retirement and his goal. Which way...
honestly, they're both pretty great goals.
Let's just go back to back.
Play his first one, Derek, the shorter one, but heartfelt.
It means a lot, You keep playing because you want to pitch in, and obviously when you're sitting down and the team's winning, it's you're happy for them, but you want to be a part of it, and just thankful for the opportunity.
Yeah, next one, please.
I've had a lot of conversations with people in my family and others, and I thought that I was done playing a number of times, and everyone always supported me to keep going, but my story is just one of many, and it's one that's public, so it's one that's talked about. But a lot of resilient guys in this organization, been through a lot as well. So guys like that motivate me to keep going.
Yes, and he's been a frontline player for the majority of his career. Successful guy, USA Hockey, all of it. Not easy, probably coming to Toronto on a PTO, right? For the chance to hang on one more time.
Yeah. And, this guy has such a history of scoring goals. Jonas Siegel has an article today, and in it he mentions from 2012 to 2017, most goals in the NHL. It's Ovi, Pavelski, Crosby, Kane, Pacioretty, fifth.
And I think this is his fourth goal that clinched a series.
Is that right?
Right? Like he's
at 82 playoff games.
I think before we kind of move the conversation to other parts of this game, you got to give Domi a ton of credit for this play. If you're watching right now on Sportsnet, if you're watching on YouTube after, great decision to rip it. Hard shot that Allmark can't handle, gets behind the net, wins a puck battle, gets it out in front of the net on Pacioretty's tape. You got to give him credit. Two huge plays in this series, overtime winner and the set that one.
And Holmberg, a great screen. In
Absolutely.
that series, Holmberg's on for
okay, go ahead.
3 goals for and none against.
I'll tell you where the biggest credit comes from. Jake McCabe, who made a 45-foot pass on that play.
To Domi.
Because who's 33? Matt and Paolo?
Montepallo,
cost him the game.
Go
watch
did he
him.
pinch up a little?
Yeah.
God.
Did he pinch?
Geez.
He's like
Can
in
we see
no
it again?
man's land.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Well, this is the thing. Some inexperience did show up in this series for Ottawa.
Here it is.
So
Right
McCabe
here.
gets his first touch
Yeah.
below the hash.
Watch 33.
Oh, he's out by that
2-on-1.
He's predicting a chip,
It's a 90-foot 2-on-1. How do you tie the game up, have your building electric, and then give up a 200-foot 2-on-1 with one pass?
Yeah, Matt and Paulo and Clevin out there right after the goal. You're right. He's kind of guessing on what McCabe's going to do.
To your point, like what is that? His fourth career playoff game?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, what does he know?
No, that's true.
That's just part of the learning curve for this team.
He's tight to Pacioretty.
Yes.
Woof.
Yes. Where are you going, buddy?
Yeah.
That's a 2-on-1 right there that cost your team being eliminated. But I'm not going to hang it on that.
Here.
But that play doesn't get your team a chance to go to Game 7.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a big moment for sure. That was a good catch, Kip.
So, in saying that, you got to still give Ottawa credit. Like, I think everybody's looking at that roster, and you look at that nucleus, and it's 23 years of age. Like, Stützle is 23 years. He's not 27, 28. That guy's got some serious upside now for the next 2 or 3 years before he's
got a
ready.
100-point season in him at some
Before
point.
he's ready to carry a team.
Yeah.
Did you hear what? Okay, so we talk about Ottawa a little bit here, but did you hear what Perron said after the game about them? Because it seems obvious now that they're going to be a good playoff team or whatever. And he kind of talked about that after. Did I put that clip in there?
All I'll say is
maybe I didn't
Pinto,
put it in.
Gregg, and Batherson are legit. So they have those are all good second line players for me.
Batherson did not have a series.
No, but he
Right.
his upside's there. Like you can see, good Batherson is very good.
Just can we listen to what Perron said? Because it's interesting talking about the next step. Play the Perron.
Crazy thing is it's not going to get easier next year. It's going to get harder to get back in the same position. I think if we asked the team over there, that's what they would tell you. So it's you make one step, and then the next step is a little bit even harder to win one round, win 2 rounds, all that. So, but I'm proud of these guys, the way we worked all year to get better and put ourselves in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
You think it's linear?
It's never.
It's often not linear.
They're the Leafs of maybe 7 years ago, right?
Sure.
6 years ago, where you're like, okay, there's going to be, these guys are the future of the
They're going
team.
to be here for years.
They're going to be here for years, and it's going to get better, and they're going to get stronger, and then they're going to be 27, 28, 29, and then where are you?
Yeah.
There's no guarantees.
No. I just
No,
thought that was interesting
right?
from Braun.
Yeah.
No guarantees.
And I also feel like their elite talent ceiling is just lower than the Leafs.
Yeah.
Undeniably. You know, they don't have a Hart Trophy winner type over there. Art
But
Ross
but
guys.
Sanderson now could be legit top 6 defenseman in the league.
Absolutely true.
We're,
That's
we're talking about a superstar here.
That's true.
A potential future Norris Trophy winner, which the Leafs have never had.
That's a good point, too. Yeah. I think these are all good points because the division's getting tougher. Montreal thinks they're going to be in it for the long haul. Like, lots of teams now are like, oh, we found it.
So, Borny, you mentioned there the elite talent of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Massive moment for them last night. Talk about Matthews, talk about Marner, talk about Willie. How would you grade the game, Kyper or Borny, for the Stars?
Go ahead, Kip. I'll let you.
They led. Yeah, for me, they had a presence. Their compete was there. Sometimes people will sit there and go, like, unless they're scoring 3 or 4 points a game, you know, it's either a success or failure. And that's not the case, man. It's getting over the hump. It's having a presence, leading with compete. They had a large penalty kill, one where they ragged the puck and barely let Ottawa touch
Was
it.
that in the third, too?
Right?
It was a big kill, yeah.
All of them, for me, a passing grade. Now, do people expect more, want more? You know, are we sitting here saying that they didn't get the job done or they didn't have a great look? Or
No, I was just wondering what you thought of their game.
Yeah, and I think it's fair. You know, I want your opinion if they did or didn't.
Yeah.
You know,
listen,
I don't care what people say.
Yeah.
I'll look at from Matthews to the 20th guy, and I'll say, guys, congrats, man. That was good enough to beat the Ottawa Senators, right? But I will not sit here and tell you that what I saw over 6 games will be good enough to beat the Florida Panthers.
Totally.
They need to get better.
Another level.
They need another level.
Yep.
And starting in game 1, they need to get better as the series progresses. Unless Florida falls off the face of the earth here with their play and how they finished a very good Tampa Bay Lightning, you guys are in for something that you never saw remotely in Series 1. So that's, to me, now next level stuff for all of them, starting with Matthews and Marner and Nylander.
For sure. But I think I'll let you get in here, but you have to pass the first test to graduate to the second test here. And the first test has been impossible for them. So I don't think they were breathtaking by any stretch last night, but Matthews ends up with points. Marner ends up with points. Willie has 3 points. Like, they contributed. They're on the score sheet. They win the game. That's got to be a good mental
play
block.
to win the game.
You win, and they had points, and they contributed.
Listen, of course, what you're saying makes sense, but in the grand picture here, this was their weakest opponent that they faced their whole careers in the playoffs.
They earned that right, absolutely.
And they earned it with their regular season.
Yeah.
But the real test will come Monday, game 1.
Yeah. You know, for me, I thought that they did not play bad. You know, like I'm sitting here and nothing today is like, I thought Marner was bad. I didn't think he was bad. I thought he was good. I thought he was fine. Same with Matthews. Matthews, for me, he shot that one in the net, and I thought maybe this will loosen him up. You know, maybe free him, and it didn't. It still seemed, both those guys to me don't skate as much as they usually do in the offensive zone. It's a little more stationary. I still think they made good plays. They set people up. That's great.
They're told to get pucks in deep and pucks to the net.
But Kevin, the first few games,
I
I felt like you saw a bit more movement, a bit more creation.
The changeover, I think, to Berube style of play from Sheldon has also had an effect on them, especially Matthews. It seems to me that Matthews has been the most affected out of less puck possession or less feel of doing your own thing.
But I will say, Willie is like, so if Marner and Matthews are in this range of good, pretty good to good, they're kind of right in there for me. Willie is like this. And in these games, it's nice to have a guy who can get to the top part. Mm-hmm. He hits those high notes for me where he's skating and using his edges. He often looks like the most threatening guy. If I were another fan watching the Leafs in those games, I'd be like, oh no.
For sure.
Because he can do that stuff. And then, I think after he got his first goal, he turned 3 pucks over in a shift.
He got stuck out there. It must have been a minute and a half. He actually bent over at one point.
And it's just like, you get a little bit of both, but it's nice to have the guy who can hit the highs.
Did you want to hear Berube talk about Matthews quickly before we?
Does he say anything?
Yeah, he talks about. We were talking about the captain. I thought we should maybe talk about.
All right,
we don't have to if you don't want to, but
just play it. Let's do it.
Clip 5 on Matthews.
Work ethic and competitiveness the whole game, high end. I don't know what his face-off percentage is right now, but it was high. I didn't see him lose too many draws. Starts there, and just heavy physical work, competing. Touched all areas of the game for us tonight in a good way. PK, power play, obviously he scored a big goal. So, like I said, he led the way.
There you go.
And also have the coach want to support his
Well, he's pumping his tires up, right?
For sure.
And as he should, I guess, for sure. But, there will be a big difference now between Cousins, Pinto, and Stützle than Barkov, Bennett, and Lundell. This is, okay, now we find out, Austin, if
we do.
If you're
But
ready
people
for
get
the challenge.
people get to enjoy this, Kipper. We can look ahead. I understand they're in deep, but it's the Battle of Ontario. Tons of people said that the Leafs were going to get upset by the Ottawa Senators.
No,
Yes,
not
they
a ton.
did. Yes,
a
they
few,
did.
but not a ton, Sammy.
But no, you're not letting people enjoy this.
No,
But
stop.
they beat the
All
Ottawa
right,
Senators,
listen.
but they're going to get smoked
I
by the
don't-
Panthers.
listen,
People are excited about
buddy,
this.
Your bar is so
Yeah,
low right
everybody's
now.
is.
No,
It's
not,
the
no,
Leafs.
Not
Everybody's is.
Everybody's bar is as low as yours. Enjoy it.
Yes.
Buddy, they knocked off a wild card team when they won the division.
That's so many
Okay?
people were saying they're going to upset the
Stop
Leafs. They're going
it.
to upset the Leafs. They own the Leafs in the regular
this is
season.
when the playoffs start.
Okay.
Now, to Justin's point, they earned the easy tap in.
Yes.
Okay? They got it.
Yes.
But stop with the enjoyment. I will tell you this. I'll tell you how you're wrong and I'm right. Okay?
Yeah.
Go back a few years ago when they eliminated Tampa Bay and look at the celebration from Dubas to Sheldon to the players on the ice.
I'm glad you brought this up because I wanted to talk about it too.
I know it was an overtime goal.
It was.
It was an overtime goal.
Tavares turnaround.
Go watch the celebration last night after eliminating Ottawa.
Nothing.
Zippo. Hey, we just did what we were supposed to do. Nobody hooping and holla. Nothing. Okay?
Hooping and holla.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Go downtown last night. I was born and raised in this town. I can't ever recall a Leafs advancing in the playoffs without thousands of honking horns and flag waving. I didn't hear anything.
You were down.
Nothing like
You were tucked into your mansion uptown.
Nothing like compared to the past.
Yeah.
Nothing. You know why? Because they did what they were supposed to do, Sammy.
Yes.
So stop acting like they didn't.
But they did do it. But the thing is, they've been supposed to do this. They've been supposed to do this.
Yeah, you're on the right track.
Sure, thank you. For 9 years. And they've done it once.
I screwed them up with the hoop and the holla.
When you do it,
it's almost English in here.
when you do it, there's a variation of English. It's like the Charlie Brown teacher. When you do it so little, yes, my bar is low.
Yes.
But when you beat the Ottawa Senators, who is a division rival,
Who
and
you've never lost
and
to.
their fans are
Ever lost to.
Yeah, but their fans are in your kitchen. They're talking about, they're gonna blow it. The Leafs are gonna blow it. They're in your kitchen. Blah blah blah.
Listen.
It's enjoyable.
You are both right because you're going at it from two totally different points of views and goals for the team. Sam, your worst nightmare was waking up today or on Monday humiliated.
humiliation is not even a big enough word.
Perfect word.
Not humiliation isn't strong enough.
You were scared of being humiliated.
Of course.
And now you're past that.
Yes.
And you have won a Stanley Cup and are thinking about how does that happen? What do you have to do that? So you're trying to not be on here. Yeah, he's trying to be up here. He's right. And you're both accomplishing your goals.
So you're relief. You're not elated. You're not celebrating. You're just relieved.
I did hack a diary.
You're relieved that you haven't been humiliated.
Correct.
And that's just good enough.
That's great.
For some
That's
people.
great. Listen, I got a weekend off where I can dream about the Leafs winning the cup now, boys. Great. I can dream about it.
No, I want you focused on ways that you think that the Leafs can beat Florida.
That Barkov and Bennett are skating in warm-up and they're not looking and they bonk heads and they're both out for the series with concussion. That's how I think they can win.
That would not hurt if you could arrange that.
Anyways, good yelling.
Do we really think that Willie Nylander was close to not playing last night?
What happened?
I personally, as the video coach, was involved in this sort of stuff. I don't really understand what's happened here.
Okay. To my knowledge, is that lineup cards and who's playing and who's not get set after warm up, right? You don't do it before warm up. Right. You do it after warm up because you want to make sure everybody's
and you mark who you're starting.
Nobody stepped on a puck and
exactly.
You might have an extra body. You got to know who's in, who's out. So they went in, and in the past, I think you write it down on a sheet. Mm-hmm. Now they use the computers.
Yes, so it's like a drop-down menu.
So they go and put Nylander in. The first one that comes up is a Nylander, not W.
I'm going to play a Nylander.
So they pressed a Nylander.
Yeah.
And whether it started with one of the assistant coaches, Mike Van Ryan, or it ended up with Berube, somebody pressed the entered button, right? And now it's gone to the league. Now the question is who found it? Last night our Elliot Friedman, our Elliot Friedman, I think, reported that maybe it was an NHL official,
linesman or something.
Jordan Bean.
Sorry,
was it Jordan Bean?
Hero.
I'm not sure where this story goes, to be honest with you, because I wasn't listening that closely last night on TV. Yeah. Whether it was an Ottawa official, an NHL official. Now, the Leaf version was we knew it was wrong the moment we pressed it.
Oh, okay.
And they went out and they made it clear to everybody we've got the wrong Nylander on the sheet and fix it.
Yeah.
And that's
not a huge deal.
That's what happened. Okay. So I don't think it was like up until 10 seconds before puck drop.
The linesman saved the day.
Somebody saved the day.
Yeah.
It
is very unlikely.
Do you guys want to hear the Berube talk about it or no?
That they would,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. Clip 2, please, there.
Well, you're on the sheet there, and it's like, the normal names are up there but when you call guys up, they're all on there, and I got confused. So I'm like, what the hell? And so told the officials, it's Willie, not Alex.
And it got switched over, but I don't think he was ever close to potentially.
Yeah.
We need 2 drops out of that, by the way. What the hell? And it's Willie. We need those 2 drops.
So, anyways, it made for an interesting topic.
But
of
it
discussion.
is funny with him having 2 and 1 in the end. By the way, we did the Leafs talk yesterday, and you talked about that Willie shot, and you liked his placement or whatever. Ullmark's no good, guys. It's a foot inside the post at least.
You cannot get beat clean in a game that you need to be pretty darn close to perfect.
Willie rules, but Ullmark was trying to give it away last night. The one he gave to Domi, who banked it off the inside of the post. Yeah. The amount of times this guy, he's a circus.
Yes.
I don't know. They're betting on him with that core the next few years.
And the goal, the Matthews goal is brutal. Yeah, it's just he doesn't have his post.
He couldn't find it.
He's looking around 9.
He just couldn't find it.
But I'm no goaltending coach. But shouldn't you have your skate on the sealed to the net in that situation?
I don't know. I told you guys I got Joseph Wall starting game 1.
You still do?
Yeah, I still do.
You don't even know what day the series starts.
Monday.
The series is starting Monday.
Yeah.
Have they announced that? Or this is just. you got the Greek tie to Hatros, Patros, Smatros, the league
Unless
schedule
something
guy.
drastically
I think it's Steven
changes in their decision making. Washington and Carolina on Sunday, Leafs in Florida on Monday. I think it's a perfect game to just give Stolarz a little bit of a regroup, and you put in a really good goalie who's got a ton of energy right now.
So I think it would make more sense for them to start on Tuesday because then you get Hockey Night in Canada, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Wednesday. If they go Monday.
And I'm saying I think it should be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Oh, to start the schedule, you're saying?
Yeah. Just to line it up so they get the Saturday. But if it is Monday, Tuesday, like this is a pretty good break for him, right? It's that gives him Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That one day might matter. Kip, how do you go away from the guy who just won 4 games?
I just like Joseph Wall. I don't think he's going to come in and blow the game.
Oh, I don't either. I have legitimately no concern
I
there.
don't envision Stolarz playing every game in the playoffs. I never did. Did you guys?
No, but I do think, you don't think, if you were the head coach, you wouldn't go away from him here for real.
Stolarz? Yeah, I don't like his last 2 or 3 games.
He's given up a mediocre goal in about 4 straight games, but I think you give him the chance again. He won you the series, see how it looks, and if you want to go to Wool game 2, cool.
Okay, there's no complete right or wrong for me. I'm not arguing it. I've just got a hunch that this guy needs a little bit of a reset. That's all. And you have a very good goalie. We've seen Pickard, we've seen all these different kind of guys come in and out. Yep. It's hard for one guy now. It's a very stressful week for him that he's never had before.
Yeah.
Okay, he's never been down this path before. He's never played more before. Didn't like the Perron goal. I'm sorry. I didn't like it.
But
he made some good saves, though, yesterday.
There's 2 ways to look at this because you definitely have a point. Like, there's a argument, clearly, if the coaching staff sits together and has a 30-minute meeting about this, there's clearly an argument to have Wall start game 1. But the guy just, he was the winning goalie for the series. He played every game. You're going into a second-round series against his former team where, this guy has got you a first-round win.
I know.
And then, but then you're probably going to be right. If he's no good in game 1, then you can come in here and be like, they should have started Wall. I said they should have started Wall.
There's
right?
not. There's not. There's no.
We'll see Wall in the series.
There's no crystal ball. There's no necessarily you're right and I'm wrong, or I'm right or I'm wrong and you're right. It's just, I think if you're going to make a change, I like making it on a strength.
Preemptives?
Right?
I do too, Kip.
It's like if
Stolarz can enjoy that game.
If Stolarz has a bad game, it's because somehow, some way, he's either convinced or someone's convinced that you let us down in game 1 and we're going to Wall. So your point of usually it's I want to reward someone for being. That's not the case here. It's we're giving you a break. You did fantastic. We're going to give you a little bit of a break here in game 1. We're going to go to Joseph Wall. Stay ready. We're going to need both of you.
Here's your rest without the mental anguish.
And and also listen. We've heard this from goalies. They love their backups. They get along with their backups, but they still compete against each other. Tell Stolarz that this guy is a good goalie too, and you got to stay on top of your game, or else this guy's going to come in and take your net. He's got to still feel like Wall's a bit of an option for them here. It's not your net because you beat a wild card team in 6 games.
It's huge risk for Berube to put Wall in game 1. Because if they put Wall in game 1 and he's brutal, they lose.
Okay.
Then what?
I'm
then
past.
What?
I have no reason to think he's going to be brutal.
Well,
none.
But
none.
he could be.
If
he's had bad games.
Could be. I will wear that as a coach. I will wear that. My mistake.
Yeah.
But good coaches bet on their horses
for sure. I'm just saying it's a risk. I don't think Joseph Wall sucks. I think he's a good goalie.
Pacioretty was a risk.
It's a risk every time you leave your house.
Yeah.
Right. Anyways, all right.
But you think? But what do you think he will do?
I think Stolarz plays for sure.
Kyper?
I threw out Joseph Wall in game 4.
Yeah, no, but what do you think? Berube does.
I think he's too safe. He'll play Stolars.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
You
Oh,
made me
got-
cut. You made me cut this Brady Tkachuk clip. I came in here and I talked about it, and you made me cut it, and I listened to it. So
Okay. So
We have to play
we
it.
barely talk before the show, but you tell me that Brady Tkachuk has a very emotional clip
yeah.
for Kipper's Clipper, and you're like, I don't want to play it. And I'm like, no, play it. No, I don't want to play it. Well, why don't you want to play it, Sammy? Because I'll make fun of him. And I'm like,
He didn't want to make fun of Brady Tkachuk,
like,
who had a very serious.
I got to tell you,
They lost.
and I'm
Let's
like,
put-
you're playing it.
play the clip. Play the clip, Derek. Brady Tkachuk. Play the clip.
Well, I mean, just the character we have in this room. First and foremost, I knew it all along, but to battle back and even battle back in this game, and I mean, I don't know. It's tough to swallow, but at the end of the day, it's to see this city, see this fan base, and really wanted to do it for them. And I mean, they came out and did their job, and it's going to be a long couple months here, but I know myself and this rest of the group here, they're going to come with a lot of fire next year.
Okay, not going to make fun of him. I'm going to say honestly. I mean, it's a little comical when he starts getting choked up. But here's what.
You're brutal.
But here's what I'll say. Liv, hear me out. Hear me out.
Just a brutal Leaf fan right
I'm a
now.
natural. The natural reaction is a little chuckle, but that guy's a dog. That guy cares more than maybe any guy in the league.
Very passionate, very authentic.
Like that, you can't fake that.
Can't fake it.
And if some of the Leafs stars had half of that, they might have gone a little further in some of these playoff series.
But I played with teammates that had one foot out the door going to the World Championships.
This guy's crying.
Yeah.
And he was unbelievable last night.
And
he
hurt.
And he got better and better.
And playing hurt.
I'm just really happy I don't have to watch him in a Game 7 in Toronto because he was getting better every game.
He's got a brother, buddy, that's coming right in your face Monday.
Yeah,
all
listen.
right?
Yeah, he's
You're
not
not getting rid of a Tkachuk.
No, but I know.
Brady is.
Oh, my God. What am I going to do with this guy?
He seems like a grown child. You know, like I don't mean that about the crying thing. I just mean like he loves the game unequivocally, and that's what he cares about, and he is who he is.
All right, we got a Leaf line, Sammy. Do you have any golf?
Yeah, we'll do it on the Leaf line. We're good.
Okay.
Pick up the phone and start dialing.
There you go. Leaf line next with our boy Sammy when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. Welcome back to the program. Kypreos, Sammy McKee, and a mouthful of chocolate, Justin Bourne. You usually flip me one of those things.
You know, I was late today. I was running around. My apologies, pal. Get you the next break.
Well, next commercial break. All right, Sammy, what are our loyal followers and listeners and watchers saying on our Leaf line?
The Leaf line is brought to you by Muskoka Bay. Okay, let's start that over. The Leafs line is brought to you by Muskoka Bay Resort, a top 10 ranked Canadian course, part of the Freed Golf Network.
Freed golf, baby.
Okay,
Let's get her going.
Yeah, hey, what's up?
let's start with Courtney in Toronto.
So, okay, like every Leafs fan last night, I really could not relax until the final seconds of the game. And I don't think that I need to tell you guys how traumatized we all are from past experience. But of course, not being able to close out the series in 4 or 5 felt like it put a big scary cloud over last night, to put it mildly. But we did it, and we have something to cheer for. I've had a good sleep. The sun is shining in Toronto, and now I feel like a new woman with a little bit of perspective. And so here's what I've been thinking. Do you think that the scare of losing games 4 and 5 might have actually been a good thing for us in the long round, or in the long run heading into round 2? Like maybe we needed to feel that pressure and get a bit of fear to get sharper and tougher. And so my question is, could those losses actually help us be more battle-tested against Florida and, knock on wood, in future rounds too? Am I crazy in thinking that this might actually be a better outcome in the long run than having swept Ottawa? Is this just classic Leafs fan coping? I don't know. I would love your thoughts. Before I go, quick shout out to my husband Jake and my mom Linda, who listen to you guys every single day. Kyper and Bourne and of course Sammy are always a topic at Sunday dinner at Linda's every single week. We love what you guys are doing. Keep up the great work. Okay. Love ya. Bye.
Wow. Courtney, great question.
Yeah.
Really good question.
I think it is a very good question. And
She's right. Everyone's been traumatized, and our leader's sitting across from us.
The trauma leader? I don't think I want that.
Trauma leader. I do. I get what she's saying, and I don't know what the right answer is to that. I do believe that lessons and messages from game to game, from a series, the highs, the lows, there's something that you can pull out of that for sure. Maybe it was a nice little wake-up call for a couple of games for this hockey club. But I know that, I hope they know what I think we know, is that they need to get better quickly here to go up against Florida. And I think maybe those two games might have been the wake-up call that Courtney's talking about.
Well, and I actually think that she's onto something there. Sometimes in life, you only appreciate things and have gratitude for them when you've almost lost them and you've been pulled back from the edge. And if you're the Leafs, I think really easy now to look at it and say, we have a real opportunity here. Like they had to feel what it was going to feel like, that nightmare.
A near-death experience last night.
And now it's like new life, and they know what it's like. Remember last time they went into Florida 2 years ago, everyone was like, they've slayed the first round dragon. Now they're going to play free. Home ice advantage, and they just got mopped.
Yeah.
And I think now that experience combined with this threat should be a little bit of like, okay, fresh start, but we got to dig in from puck drop because I think it's going to be a good series.
Just to extend on that a little bit too, is that the one thing I still think that some of the players can work on a little bit is just the humbleness of identifying, and it goes back to Craig Simpson too, just identify when you're not at the top of your game and you're not, and when you need to be better. And even last night, listening to Austin Matthews, who's the captain and the leader, and he talks about the outside noise, and we don't want to listen to the outside noise. And
they love saying that.
But listen, they got to shut that down.
Totally
I'm
agree.
telling you right now.
Totally agree.
And even if they are correct, even if they truly feel that way, and you feel like it's you versus the outside noise, and you got to rally yourselves all together, do it. Just stop with the noise that you think is out there, and it is, but you can't. Don't bring it up. Don't identify it. Mitch Marner's been guilty of it over the past couple of seasons, where it's you guys and us and you guys. No division. What they should have just said instead of outside noise is, we're really happy for our fans. Bring them in. Include them.
Totally, Kip.
You can't do this without them, okay? And yes, they've been hard on you in the past. And yes, the noise is true. Just stop bringing it up.
And you know what I think really validates your point and brings it from a place of, I guess, experience is, look at what you do for a living. I know I do it too, but you've been doing this for a long time. And how many times do people online, is anyone ever mean to you, Kip? Do you ever get a mean tweet? Like, lots. Like, that is constantly.
Every single day.
Every single day.
Yes.
But if it made you come in here and go, I know people are going to think this is mean, but, or whatever, like, you just keep doing your thing. And that's all that matters. That's all you can do to be your
You've
best.
had a lot of great takes in the show. That may be my favorite take.
But when Austin utters about the outside noise, it's like he doesn't believe it. It's unjustified. It's like,
right.
We believe in ourselves, and it's like it would be nice every once in a while to say, hey, listen, we hear it, and
you guys are right.
Yeah. Not everyone believes in you.
and we're just glad that we were able to do it for you guys, and we're going to give it our best, and let's do this as a city, as a team, as a community. Bring them back, buddy. Bring them back.
It isn't us versus the city wants to cheer.
Courtney, good question. I took up the whole segment. Let's go to Alex from Whitby.
Got a bit of a predicament last night. Went to a movie instead of seeing the game. Big Leaf fan, but I could not stand to watch them lose or potentially lose. I'm kind of in Sammy's boat. I didn't want to change the day on it, but want to know if I'm still considered a fan, considering I knew they'd be playing more games depending on how it went. Cheers, guys. Big fan of the show. Big fan of the Leafs talk. Go Leafs, go.
So Alex is the second person that told me they didn't watch last night.
I've heard from someone else too.
One of my dear friends, Dave, texted me after Pacioretty scored. He said, "I'm taking the dog for a walk."
Just couldn't even watch the end of the
He's
game.
like, "I'm taking the dog for a walk. I'm not watching the end of this."
That's real trauma.
I honestly,
you're a real
envy
fan.
that.
Don't
I
worry,
envy
pal.
that. I envy that. Like I would
The
100.
ability to
If I didn't do post game talk about this, I might have gone to a movie last night for sure. Turn the phone off. Just pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That
you are. That's as real a fan as
what
a
would
fan
you guys
gets,
see?
I
This,
think,
the Titanic?
That level of care.
It's
That's
pretty
still in
good.
theaters?
Pretty good. No, it's a pretty good joke. Let's go to Mark in Collingwood.
It's a great day here in Ontario, and I think we all owe an apology to a lifelong Leaf, a playoff dog, an absolute stud. I'm talking about wee Willie Nylander. Oh, he doesn't back check. He doesn't hit. He didn't skate hard when I wanted him to. You know what he did do? Put the puck in the net a whole bunch in big games. The guy shows up when it counts, even when it doesn't look like we want it to. So happy birthday to the most clutch Leaf of the Matthews era. See you in round 2.
Ken,
It's
are you?
Willie.
Willie showed up.
Yeah.
Clutch.
Clutch.
Let's try to.
Everyone's just like, yep, agree.
Let's try to sneak one more quick
You
one
can't
in.
find another guy that wanted an empty net goal harder than that.
Well, I mean, end the game.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Put the series away.
Yeah.
But it was nice. It was nice to see.
Heck of a play.
Let's go to. I can't remember. It's bird brain. Let's go to Mike in Toronto.
Hey, boys, what a win last night. It's Mike from Toronto. I just wanted to let you guys know
Oh,
after a
crap.
big win like that, you got to change the name to the Sammy McKee Show, baby. What I want to know, though, is what are we going to do different this year against Florida now that we have a better defense and a better goalie? Is that all it's going to take, or are the big guys going to have to step up? All the best, guys. See you in the second round.
I have such a bird. I can't remember what any one of these things. But
Sammy McKee Show.
nah, that's never going to happen.
Why would you put that in?
I forgot. I forgot.
Listen, you don't have to
Do you wanna
answer
talk
that.
to
I
I
forgot.
know why you
Say
put it in.
I forgot.
Okay.
I literally have
listen.
never brought it up.
You know
I
what?
forgot.
Our contracts will eventually expire. They won't want us back.
Yeah, and I'll be at the beer store serving you guys, and we're good to go.
You can
If
run
I'm
with
there,
it, my
things
friend.
have gone
that's
really
true.
wrong.
That's true. I don't think. Well, I'm trying to think of these. Let's go to Andrew. in
Do we
Nova
want to hold
Scotia.
on? His question was about what they need to do against
Yeah,
Florida.
Right.
Better defense. How do you want to handicap that series, Kip? They got a shot.
Listen, this is sport. A couple of suspensions. Bobrovsky goes south a little bit. You got to rattle their chain early in this series and show everybody. I don't see them being swept. I don't see it.
That's good.
I don't see 5. I see 6 or 7. I think the Leafs will find ways to win a couple of hockey games here. I don't have them coming out of the series. I have Florida as the favorite. But how do you get out of this? Matthews, Marner, and Nylander have to have the series of their life.
Mm-hmm.
They will. Not only will they be challenged, I'm telling you right now, between Bennett, Marchand, and a few others, they are targeting Matthews, Marner, and Nylander.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
They're
Okay.
coming. Kachuk, they're all coming. And they will be tested like they've never been tested before at this point of their careers. And I hope they're ready.
Bob was a 901 save percentage, just like Stolarz in round 1. He can run hot and cold. You'd need a little bit of help there. I think the Leafs do defend extremely well. I think the games will be close.
And the Leafs line was brought to you by Muskoka Bay Resort, a top 10 ranked Canadian course, part of the Freed Golf Network. And a reminder to golf fans out there, Sportsnet and Muskoka Bay Resort have come together with an amazing contest. Text the word Muskoka 590-590 for your chance to golf at one of Canada's top 10 ranked golf courses with a night in an incredible 3-bedroom villa for you and your friends.
Ooh.
Just text Muskoka to 590-590 for your chance to win. Visit sportsnet.ca/590 contest for more details.
And you can take the 3 of us for your force.
Yes.
Nice job, Sammy. All right.
boys.
Take a little bit of a break here. When we return, former NHL president, GM, and head coach Doug MacLean was on the rails with Sammy in the first hour. It's back off with Mac. Don't go away. National show coming up next. Welcome back into the studio. It's our national show on the Real Kyper and Bourne show. We are live on Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, Sportsnet 960 in Calgary, right across your Sportsnet platforms. Download us whenever you can't catch us live. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Today we'll also take some texts. Sammy?
590-590, text us. Get them in early so we can get them organized for the last segment. We'll take lots of texts, not just about the Leafs, nationally. Oilers, Jets, Habs, whatever you want to text us.
In a few minutes, we'll welcome in Doug MacLean on our Off the Rails Friday. Plenty of takes, I'm sure, for him.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just sit back and welcome him in, and I don't know, we'll go for coffee or something while he goes on.
Sure. We need like cardboard cutouts of ourselves or something.
In the meantime, let's discuss 4 straight wins by the Edmonton Oilers off a team that we thought would have been better prepared than any other time that they've met the Oilers in a Stanley Cup playoff round, the Los Angeles Kings.
Let me do my best, Doug MacLean. Really, LA? Really? I mean, serious.
Pretty good.
I mean,
that was really good.
I mean, come on, LA. Like, what?
You're not squinty enough.
Comes down to 2 things, boys.
Okay.
2 things. Challenge, failed clear.
Mm-hmm.
Byfield doesn't get it out past
Yeah.
Bouchard. The challenge from Hiller on the goal interference.
Yeah, a couple of key moments
Just
for
can't
sure.
open the door and let the Oilers get their foot in there again.
And that's what guys like that do. They take advantage of your mistakes and your
Yeah.
worst moments, and boy, did they ever. So
Let's give the Oil some credit here because I will remember. I'll remember the Oilers in this series more so than any other time with players around McDavid and Draisaitl than those guys carrying the load.
Yeah, last night,
Connor
I think
Brown, I
1
think
point for McDavid.
3 points for Connor Brown last night. And those guys rallied around those guys.
Connor Brown's a hockey player, man. He loves this stuff.
I think the team rallied around their 2 superstars and basically made a decision that we are not going to let them down.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty funny that Matthias Janmark, the only time he'll ever be mentioned in the same sentence as Mario Lemieux, but he went full Mario Lemieux on the fake kick up to his skate.
Buddy, Janmark in the playoffs is like...
Maybe he is Mario Lemieux.
Yeah. He is an unbelievable playoff performer.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, they're on to Vegas, but it feels like they're getting things sorted out. Like Trent Frederick got on the board.
Yeah.
Kane has been involved for them.
But there was a stretch of the hockey game last night where you're like, okay, is anyone going to play defense at all?
I know.
Is
it's
this
a different looking series.
Can either one of these teams like continue to win like this? Can they go to a conference final or a Stanley Cup final if they're just going to sit there and exchange chances?
I will say, having covered the Toronto Maple Leafs over the past bajillion years in playoffs, watching the Oilers games has always made me feel like, why does it always look like this? Like, what the Kings are the best defensive team in the NHL. Outside Winnipeg had a lower goals against, but Kings were right there.
But they turned them into they turned it into a track meet.
Yeah. Well, the Kings tried to go at him with 4D.
Yeah.
You know, and that was not sustainable for them. Them losing those 2 games and they had them down and out, buried them. But
Doug MacLean on Off the Rails Friday, NHL.
Hey.
Former president,
Listen,
GM,
like
head coach, blah, blah,
I'm
blah,
sour.
blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
Oh, no. You're starting off with I'm sour.
Well, you know what? I picked LA to win the series, sort of. And the team, I watched them a couple of games. I mean, there's too much Hollywood in that group. Too much Hollywood. I mean,
Who's Hollywood for you?
like, I don't know. They all played like Hollywood stars. I mean, give me a break. I mean, it was ridiculous the way they played. And coaching, Jimmy Hiller, I coached Jimmy in Detroit, but a couple monumental mistakes. And you know what? You got them down 2-0 and they go to Pickard in goal. I mean, full marks to Pickard, the way he played and the way he battled and the way it was almost like the team rallied around him and really, it was good to see. And like you guys said, I mean, their secondary guys come through. I saw Arvidsson. I ripped Arvidsson a few times this year. He made some big time plays at critical times in this game. Boucher came around and made some big plays. You can never bet against Draisaitl and McDavid because they make a lot of guys accountable in that dressing room, and they're leaders. We saw it last year going to the finals. They're leaders, so it's tough to count them out. But I don't know. The Hollywood stars didn't come out to play.
Is that something that will haunt Jim Hiller?
Well, you know what? It's when you're a first-time coach, it stays with you a little bit. But Jimmy proved this year he's a pretty good NHL coach. You
don't
really
expect a change there, do you?
If there's a change there, it wouldn't surprise me. It might be in the front office.
Rob, there has been some talk about Rob Blake stepping down even last year, and then
that wouldn't surprise me. Not get fired, but stepping down. That wouldn't surprise me.
The way it's been described to me is Rob Blake's always been on one-year deals. That's it, and it will really be his decision when it's all said and done.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. I mean, it's funny. I was looking at Seattle today. Dave Hagel. I mean, I see his name out there for a coaching job now, and I'm thinking, man, talk about a step back. Hagel gets that group in the playoffs, and Dan Bylsma comes in with, what's her name? What's the assistant's name?
Jessica Campbell.
I hear that the coaching there this year was scary bad. That's what I've been told by a lot of people, that people were shaking their heads, what they were trying to get them to do in the power play, what they were trying to get them to do defensively.
They're all gone, I think, and I think they've retained Jessica. I think that's how it's been left in Seattle.
Jessica, is she going to become the head coach, or is she going to stay as assistant?
I have no idea.
Are they doing interviews there? Was there 6 open jobs?
No, 8 maybe.
Is that right?
8.
Yeah. Doug, you're back in.
Anyway, yeah, I'm back in. Watching a few of these games, it wouldn't surprise me that I may get a call. Man, there's some bad coaching.
All right, you brought up coaching. We've got a lot of listeners in Vancouver. Are you surprised? Not surprised? Rick Tocchet no longer associated as a head coach anymore there.
No, it doesn't surprise me in the least. As a matter of fact, I think I may have mentioned on this show 3 or 4 months ago he's going to end up in Philly. But
I think
you guys
don't.
You got to save the clips and run them every once in a while.
Okay, great.
Just run them back. But anyway, look, what a debacle! Conference final last year and lose in a tough series, and this year it is a debacle all season long. I don't get it. I don't get what's happened there. I mean, look, the Miller-Pettersson thing was allowed to get out of control. Quinn, the talk of Quinn going with his brother. Jimmy brings it up. I'd never heard that. I guess it's out there, but Jimmy brings it up. I mean, it was just one debacle after another. And why would Tocchet stay? Why would he? When there's 8 other jobs available. I mean, they've got to fix it. I mean, I said it to you guys, one Canadian on the team, Patrick Allvin is the general manager. I mean, with all the people Jimmy Rutherford knows in the game, like, come on, what's he? Anyway, I don't get it.
Well,
it's a mess.
One coach vacancy that we can take off that list is the Rangers. So Sullivan, I guess they parted ways in Pitt, knowing that there was a bag of money waiting for him with the New York Rangers. Everybody is led to believe that he has now set a new mark for head coaching positions at what I hear could be north of $7 million.
Ooh.
So does he say to Kyle Dubas, I want out? Or does Kyle say we want to make a change? Kyle made it sound like it was his decision to go buy one of the better coaches in the NHL. Why? So you can deliver him on a silver platter to the New York Rangers who are who you play against in your conference? Like, what's going on here? Who makes that decision?
Well,
who's he going to put in there that's going to turn this franchise around?
Clearly, I think both of them aren't on the same page on the amount of time it would take to turn this franchise around. And I don't think Sullivan was willing to kind of wait as long as maybe.
So are you telling me he quit? Dubas said he fired him.
Whatever the case is, Mac, at the end of the day, Sullivan was very well liked by the ownership group, had a good relationship with the ownership group. If Sullivan really wanted to stay, he could have stayed.
I think Sullivan interviewed Dubas for the GM job, didn't he? Wasn't he
There
on
you
the
go.
interview panel?
Is that right?
Like,
There you go.
What is going on there? Anyway, and I had a great chat with Kyle a week or so ago there. I mean, I'm thinking, he's telling me, they're going through a rebuild. I said, yeah. I said, I've watched Detroit go through it for 8 years now. Buffalo go through it for 14 years. Columbus go through it for 20. It's not easy. It's not easy. And,
I'm sure he
and
really appreciated that from you.
You may want to start with a really good coach. That's what you may want to start the rebuild with if you possibly can.
Player coach. That's what they need now. A player coach in Sid.
They do. They have one of those already. Sid and Malkin and Letang. There's a number of them there.
So what are you making of the coaching carousel that's out there? I know your boy Gerard Gallant is someone you like quite a bit. You got a spot for him or what?
You know what? I'd love to see him with the Bruins. I don't know what they're going to do, but he's had look. I mean, the Rangers fire him after he took them to the conference final in his first year, and the next year they lose out to New Jersey, which was a pretty good team, and they fire him. And Laviolette, talk about a gong show. That was the ultimate gong show I've watched with the Rangers under Laviolette this year. So look, I'd like to see him with the Bruins. There's any of the jobs, he would be a good fit. All he's done is gone to the finals in his first year in Vegas. He went to the conference final with the Rangers. Yeah, he deserves another chance. For sure he does. Mm-hmm. And I look at the list of names, and after the top 3 or 4, we're back to the run-of-the-mill average coaches. I mean, I hear the Carl guy. Now, I heard his name today, maybe, in Anaheim. I've heard, in Anaheim. And, that makes a little bit of sense to me because they've got such a young group in Anaheim, and they've got some great young players. I can see that, much like what San Jose did with their coaching hire last year. So that makes sense to me. Joel Quenneville does not make any sense to me in Anaheim. Joel Quenneville makes sense to me with a veteran team.
I heard it makes sense to the league if he comes back that he goes to a team that doesn't have a ton of coverage.
Do you think that matters?
I do.
But you know what? When the league makes a decision that Stan Bowman and he are allowed to come back, then they should stay out of it. They had all the power. They've made the decision that they've been reinstated. Apparently, have they with Joel? Has he been?
Yes. There's no way that you're interviewing without it.
So why would they be trying to determine where he should go?
Well, they're not, Matt.
I know they like to place GMs and coaches. I know that's part of their job description.
They're not dumb, Mac. They're not dumb. They know where some markets will create a lot more noise with Joel than others. That's just kind of a no-brainer.
Why don't the league let the owner make that decision and the GM make that decision? I'm
not saying they're making any decision. I'm just telling you what they'd probably like to see in a perfect world is Joel come back into the league without a lot of backlash. That's all.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. They place most of the GMs and coaches anyway, so that's part of the job description, I guess, with Bettman and Daly.
Well, hold on. Tinfoil hat right now. The league's placing GMs, you think?
Come on. Who do you think the owners phone when they're looking for a GM?
So they call Gary and say, Gary, who should we get?
Well, there's recommendations made, Mac. It's been going on for a long time.
Well, the owners depend on Gary and Bill Daly. I'm not criticizing them for making the GM calls because, look, let's not kid ourselves. The owners get in the league because of Gary. That's how they get in the league. And why wouldn't they rely on him to help them find a GM? The people that are in the front office at the NHL have got a pretty good feel as to who the GMs that are available. And they make lots of recommendations. There's no doubt about that.
Okay, let's get it back on the rails here with a little hockey here. Winnipeg and St. Louis. Colorado and Dallas, of course, in a critical one on Saturday night here. Where do you see – let's start with Winnipeg and St. Louis for you.
Well, St. Louis have been really physical. I mean, they have been hard on Winnipeg, and I expected them to be going into the series that they would be physical. I hate the thought of seeing Ehlers and Scheifele as question marks tonight. That bothers me for the Jets. You know, I love what they've done in St. Louis. Army's done a heck of a job in his last year as GM, retooling that team. And I think it goes 7 games, and to me, the guy that's got to step up is Hellebuck. I mean, when is this going to end for this guy? I mean, an absolute star in the regular season. He goes through the 4 Nations, doesn't win that. Binnington outduels him there. Not his fault, but he was outdueled by Binnington. He's got to get it done. I feel for him because he's got to somehow, some way, get over this playoff. The haunting of the playoffs for Hellebuck. It's got to happen. And they're a nice team. I love how they play, but going in there tonight with potentially a couple of key guys out of the lineup is not easy. And, you know, I like what Chevy's done. But look, Chevy, what's going to happen with Chevy? Is he not in the last year of his deal? And I mean, this guy, 14 years in the league as a GM, and the job he's done there for me is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And are they gonna step up and pay Chevy what Chevy's worth in today's market? That's going to be fun to watch too. What are you hearing on that, Kip?
I have not
all those rumors.
No, you're the scoopster today because I didn't know he was in his last year.
Like talking about using like golf handicaps, like Chevy is giving strokes to everyone out there with the Winnipeg thing. Like how many team players have them on the no trade list? How much harder is his job than the next GM in the league?
It's unbelievably challenging. And that's why I'm saying in 14 years, this guy is a pure hockey guy. Mm-hmm. And you know, he's paid his dues, you know, in the International League, assistant in Chicago. And look, I think he's done a marvelous job there. I really do. And that's, you know, I like Doug Armstrong. He's a friend of mine. I'd like to see Winnipeg win this series. I really would. For Chevy, to be quite honest.
Colorado and Dallas last night. We saw one of the weirdest game-winning goals. It went off of
Sam Steele shot it off Blackwell's shoulder.
Sam Steele shot it off. It was crazy. It was Steve Smith, Edmonton Oilers, behind the net kind of deal.
I know. This series is a toss-up. 2 really, really good teams. To me, the guy that's been a little disappointing for me is Ottinger. I really have liked him as a goalie, and I'm seeing like a lot of holes. I'm seeing a lot of pucks go through this guy that has caught me off guard. And Blackwood, you know, he hasn't got a great resume. I mean, I know he was good in Jersey at times, and I was a little surprised they picked him to be a Stanley Cup goalie, but hey, he's played pretty well. And Ottinger, to me, has got to be better. And, you know, listen, Dallas is doing this without Heiskanen and Robertson. Not your Robinson, their Robinson. And they're doing it without that, you know, without him. That's 2 of their top players. I mean, Colorado should have got to take advantage of this because Dallas get those 2 guys back in the next round. They're going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
You know? And Rantanen was an absolute horse last night, an absolute horse. So, you know, that's a toss up for me, and it'll be interesting to see, you know, where it goes here.
Yeah. Ottinger, to me, remember that series he had against Calgary? Mm-hmm. Like it was off the charts. Yeah. And we knew he was going to end up with a good contract, but I mean, he signed 8 years at $66 million, and
right.
I don't think he's been good ever since he signed that contract like he should be.
And and he's, you know, this is a tough look. You're going against Nathan McKinnon and company. It's not an easy task, to say the least. They got, you know, it goes back to this 2-3 thing. Like, give me a break. I mean, the teams are losing in the 2-3 hole anyway. I'm not going to go there. Okay. I've already had my chat about, you know, the great job they're doing at the league. I can't pick on them now after the great job they've done and everything else, you know.
We were talking about Canadian goaltending there with the Hellebuck thing, and I wanted to direct that to the baby jersey behind me here, the Edmonton Oilers. They went with Pickard for 4 games. Do you think they Skinner was the guy they decided was their guy somewhere along the way? Do you think they say, okay, he got us through, now we're going to give Stu another chance?
No. Stu will get his chance when Pickard, when Pickard goes south.
Yeah.
And, who knows? Next series is going to be another tough series. I mean, I'm really anxious to see what happens there. So they're playing Vegas, right? That's in the next round. So, I mean, Vegas had their hands full with Minnesota. Minnesota got healthy. Minnesota played really well early in the series, and then they let it slip away a little bit like LA. And, Nick and I were talking, I mean, Stone, how do you ever say that Stone and Pietrangelo aren't just unbelievable leaders? And Nick mentioned that to me today. They've got a pretty good group there. The Eichel line came alive. They weren't very good early on. The defense, Hannafin wasn't very good. McNabb weren't very good early on. But they come on. So some people have picked them to win the cup. I mean, I watched a couple of pollsters picking the cup winners there, and I one guy picked Winnipeg to win it, one guy picked Vegas to win it. I never got asked to pick who I thought. I guess I must have missed that show.
Yeah, we'll get you on that email next year.
I must have missed that. I must have missed that email for that to pick my spots. But I noticed I just went through the Sportsnet. I went through the Sportsnet list the other day. Somebody sent it to me on their picks. I don't know. Every one of them picked Tampa to beat Florida, which caught me a little off guard, except one guy. One guy didn't pick Tampa.
No, there was Rory too, our Sportsnet.ca editor.
Oh. What did Bourne pick? Who did Bourne pick?
Sounds like you have that answer already in your pocket, Doug.
Hey,
I know.
It's like picking the Kings or something.
I think the only guy that picked Florida in that series was Sam McKee, wasn't he? Or was it you, Nick? It was somebody.
Mac, they didn't ask me to make picks either.
All I know is I'm taking heat today because I picked the Kings in 6, and it was based on you. So, I made a mistake listening to you.
Well, that's the only pick I was able to make, was that one. It's the only one I was asked about, that series.
How surprised were you that Florida had the ease to advance over Tampa Bay?
You know what? I being realistic, I thought it would be a really good series. I really did, and it wasn't even close, guys. It wasn't close, that series to me. And
we're talking about Hall of Famers, Kucherov, Point.
I know.
I know it was announced today that Hedman had a broken leg.
Yeah.
Did you hear that one?
Hedman, he pulled a Bobby Bond, did he?
He tried without the game-winning goal.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I didn't know that. But Kucherov had a horrific series. Point was okay. Hagel, that was a loss for them. Unfortunate loss for them.
They shut them down.
Florida are a vicious team to play against. What about Matthew Tkachuk? Didn't he miss the last 2 months of the season or 3 months?
Yeah, he was really hurt.
And you watch him, and it's like he hasn't missed a beat. I mean, was that a holdout till game 1 again? Are we witnessing another?
He couldn't have
LTI
played April
situation?
17th. No way. No
Yeah,
way.
he couldn't have.
No.
So but I'll tell you what, he comes into the lineup, and they're a different team. And Bennett, who Nick's always loved and always wanted Toronto to get Bennett, he's become a horse. This guy, and I haven't even mentioned, Marchand. And
he's starting to feel comfortable too, isn't he?
Oh, did you see the play he made on that goal the other night? The play he made on that goal, the pass to the net, unbelievable play.
Where can the Leafs beat them, or at least extend this series as far as they can? Where in what way do you see?
Well, they've got to figure out how they're going to handle Florida's forecheck, because it's a ferocious forecheck. I mean, they may be the best forechecking team I've seen in the league in the last 10 years. I'm telling you, the way they go at you. And their defense doesn't have to be as good because they're in the other team's end so much. The ice tilt must be extraordinary for the Florida Panthers.
Doug, I'll give you an update at the start of the second round. Don't worry.
Okay, I appreciate that. But look, I think Toronto's got to be able to handle it. And look, I was impressed with Toronto's blue line stood tall in the Ottawa series. They really did. And that group of six, Morgan Riley, Carlo was a great pickup because he calmed down
McCabe and Tanev.
Riley, McCain and Benoit. We talked about Benoit 4 or 5 months ago on this show that I was starting to see a guy that was playing really well for him. And Stolarz was terrific as well. Now Stolarz has got to match up against goalie Bob, and goalie Bob is focused in right now. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. Toronto's blue line versus Florida's with Jones. He played 28 minutes the other night. He played the best game I've seen him play since the trade. Jones was really good. And up front, they're vicious. So, Toronto, I really like what Berube did. Some subtle changes. He took the pressure off the core, or whatever they're called. He took the pressure off them, and all of a sudden, their lineup finally looked like they had a bottom six.
Mm-hmm.
Pacioretty going up in the top six, and allowing McMahon to go to the bottom six. And Lawton has come on and played an important role.
He's played hard.
Domi, Lawton has played exactly the way he should be playing. Domi's made some plays. I got to tell you, their bottom six. I said for 5 years in Toronto they've never had the right bottom six, and finally they've got a decent bottom six. So that's going to be interesting to see where that takes them. Matthews. I don't know what's going on with Matthews, but Sammy better figure it out soon. Because he's got to be a lot better than he's been. Nylander was good last night. He was horrible the game before. And Mitch plays hard. I know people are down on him, but Mitch Marner plays hard. And John Tavares has played hard.
He did.
Matthews and Nylander have got to show more consistency for me, and they're going to be hey, they're dangerous, and they can't. The Leafs have it. The Leafs are one of the few teams that have a chance to go head-to-head with Florida because of their talent, because of the big plays they can make at critical times. So we'll see.
You're upset you didn't get to make picks. How many games did the Leafs win? 1, 2, 3, or 4? 0 is also an option, Doug.
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me that it could be a 6-game series. I know one thing. I think the Leafs coaching staff, Savard's there. I was going to say the Leafs coaching staff is tougher, but then, I forgot about Savard there. And who's the other assistant?
Lane Lambert and Van Ryn.
Have you caught a little bit of Berube and Savard on the bench and trying to calm them down? It kind of looks like sometimes Biff and McFly sometimes.
I would never criticize anybody for being goofy behind the bench. Okay, I had a little of that in me, but when the power play scores, the Savvy gets so excited, when his power play scores, and I don't blame him. Yeah. So look, I thought Berube did a good job in this series. I did, and I thought Travis Green did. Ottawa stood tall. Look, it was a high seed, the number 1 seed versus the 7th seed. I thought Ottawa stood tall in there. I hated the call last night. They missed with 3 minutes left, knocking the stick out of the hand.
Did you see
there's
that?
Two. Listen, guys.
No.
There's 2 calls that are automatic in the NHL. 2 of them. Okay, puck over the glass and knocking a stick out of somebody's hand. Automatic calls.
Mac, you're not getting that call in a critical 6 or 7. The knocking out of the.
Well, then don't call it. If you're not getting it, then don't call it in the regular season. Okay, if you're not getting it, they call the puck over the glass in the 7th game. They did it to Edmonton and Carolina a few years ago. Cost them the cup. So if you're going to call it in the regular season and never miss one of them, and they missed that one with, was it 3 minutes left? Come on.
I thought you stood pretty tall on this segment until that last comment on a non-call for knocking a stick out of the hands.
I'm just getting back at Steve Walkham because he runs around. He's got a tape of me on his phone. I told you that.
Have you spitting gum at somebody?
Oh, no. Steve Walkham, who I love Steve Walkham, by the way.
Oh,
but
yeah.
He has He has me on a voicemail on his phone. He's had it for 15 years, he told me. And every time he gets down in the dumps and things aren't going well, he plays the tape of me phoning him at 11 o'clock at night, going ballistic on the phone, ripping him a new ass. So he plays that, and he said, Doug, it just makes me feel better.
Is there anyone you don't love before you rip them on our show?
I didn't rip him. I'm the one that phoned him. And what about Mike Murphy? He's at the NHL alumni banquet, and he said it in front of 1,000 people there 2 weeks ago that I was a nut bar as a GM on the phone.
That guy,
said,
that Mike Murphy always told it like it is, baby.
I love Mike Murphy, but good God, Murph, you have to. It was NHL alumni. So I had 10 calls from guys, and Scott Morrison sitting next to him at the head table after Murph said I was a nut bar calling the league so much, and Scott Morrison is standing next to him. My co-writer says he hasn't changed. That's what Scott said.
Hey, any chance that we can get you to cover the Leafs and Florida for us, an exclusive sideline reporting for us? We'll send you. Well, we can't get you a ticket to the game, but we can send you to the parking lot.
Listen, I would love to do it, but today I played 18 holes with Jack Armstrong yesterday, my last golf game.
Hello.
And and I cleaned the barbecue today. So what's that tell you? What's going on when I've cleaned the barbecue? What's that mean?
You're heading north?
I'm heading north on Tuesday. I'm heading to Canada on Tuesday. We're going to stop in Cincinnati, then friends in Connecticut, and then we're going to go to Martha's Vineyard for a little visit. Oh my God. And then we'll be home May 20th.
How much did they pay you when you worked here?
I will be on the road. You'll have to get me. Sammy's going to have to find me on the road all over.
From your RV. From the RV. Right? Have you got the RV?
I sold the RV.
Come on.
Yeah,
all
right.
All right, Mac's vacation coming up the next month on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. All right, Mac, thanks for doing this, pal.
Hey, guys, thanks a lot for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you sure do.
Thanks, Mac.
All right, Doug MacLean. Yeah, anything he says, I don't believe him anymore.
Game time.
Game time.
Game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. So we have a game 6 this evening. 7:30, 8 p.m. puck drop. Pre-game on CBC and Sportsnet. Hockey night in Canada.
ETS. Jets.
The Winnipeg Jets are in St. Louis to try to put away the Blues. They are minus 105 on the money line. The St. Louis Blues minus 115. Pretty close there. The Blues are slight underdogs.
No Scheifele, though.
This one going 7.
Totally agree. Connor Helmut's going to let his form off.
Matt called it.
Dude, Nick Ehlers is back. Ehlers is my guy.
There's going to be a muffin or two from Hellebuck.
Don't
you
speak
up? I don't read lips. What'd you say?
That.
There's going to be a muffin or two from He's brutal on the road in the playoffs. He's brutal. He's been brutal.
Winnipeg wins.
Now I know why you whispered.
He's brutal. He was capital B brutal in those 2 games there.
Statement Hellebuck game tonight.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
For the record, you are the positive guy
Yes.
on the show, and he's the negative show.
Yeah.
Yeah, fire and ice, baby. And then tomorrow night, on Saturday, we have a game 7 between the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars are underdogs on home ice, plus 115. The Colorado Avalanche are minus 135. So interesting number there. I love a game 7 in any sport, but it's particularly in hockey between those 2 teams. The series always going 7.
They should have started the series in game 7. It was never not going 7.
What was your prediction for a Stanley Cup final?
Tampa Bay.
Is this like preseason or post predictions?
No,
we did
going into playoffs.
Did we go okay, but how about at the beginning of the season? How about at the beginning of the season? Do you remember?
Edmonton, I think.
Edmonton, Toronto?
Yeah, no Edmonton. Edmonton, Tampa.
Tampa?
I don't they don't ask me.
Nah.
You were Dallas.
At the beginning of the year, Florida. I had Florida, Dallas. And then for some reason, I'm an idiot. because I want to stick with what I picked, but I forgot I picked Dallas and I picked Colorado.
Oh, yeah, good picks.
So I'm kind of covered.
Yeah,
Yeah, you look smart either way.
What?
So,
I'm going to
yeah.
be smart either at the beginning of the season or in my post.
And
We'll be
just
selective.
the last thing I'll bring up quickly, they have some of the to win the series. I'm trying to pull this up quickly. Some of the series for the second round here. The Washington Capitals are actually underdogs in that series, plus 145 in that series for the full series. Edmonton and Vegas, minus 115 Edmonton, minus 105 Vegas, close series. And the Toronto Maple Leafs, plaster this on the whiteboard down at Scotiabank Arena, starting on home ice, are big underdogs.
Monster dogs.
Plus 150. The Florida Panthers are minus 180 in that series. So there you go. That was Game Time, presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
All right, let's catch our breath here. And when we return, we'll get into a little John Cooper. What's his future like in Tampa Bay? Sullivan's gone. How far is Coop away from parting ways with the Tampa Bay Lightning? Plus, text.
Text us.
590, 590?
Yep.
Back when we return after these words. Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. As a reminder, this hour of Real Kipper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365 as we get ready for an all-important game tonight, St. Louis and Winnipeg. And then that leads us into the weekend, Colorado and Dallas.
Hey, wanted to bring up a tweet I just saw.
Okay.
Chris Botta, longtime Islanders
Yes.
guy, pal of mine, says Lou Lamoriello never had any intention of retiring, and he has not ruled out remaining in the game if teams are interested. He has spoken with several colleagues around the league who reached out after his time with the Isles ended.
Boy.
Yeah, I think it was mentioned to me that perhaps the Islanders would have liked to find him something as an advisor.
Internally.
Yeah, and he's, Lou's an all-in guy.
It's crazy, too, because, he would love to live in that area. Like, that's, he spent a lot of time in the tri-state area. You think he would be like, oh, sure, keep me around, stay a part of this. But he wants to be
the guy.
Is there a team?
It's a good question. We're stretching the limits of is it a good idea?
Blackhawks?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I have so much respect for the man.
Canucks.
But I don't know when someone's
Talk about the old
time's
boys.
up and when it's not up.
Yeah.
Right? I have no idea.
I don't either. All right. Anyway, just thought that was interesting.
Okay.
We had a text about John Cooper, so I thought I'd read the text. Maybe then you could talk about John
Sure.
Cooper.
Okay.
This is from Larry McKay. I just said his full name, but he's Larry in Caledonia. John Cooper is just what the Blackhawks need and have needed in a coach. They must pursue him. I was hoping they would pursue Sullivan when I heard he was available until I heard Kipper's insider info on the Rangers. The time is now to build these young players. The Hawks have had, and Cooper is a great fit.
I agree. Every team would benefit from having John Cooper. If he doesn't want to go anywhere,
Well,
then
the extension was just for 1 year, right? So you don't sign an extension for 1 year and then walk away from it. So I don't think we should be too surprised that he's coming back next season.
Okay.
Yep.
But this next season will be the fork in the road, and it's probably set up for him to probably part ways after next year. It would be 10, 11 years, 12 years longer.
yeah, he's there in 2013.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah, so this
11,
13th
12?
year or something. Yeah, 12, 13.
And
Long time.
it is a long time. I think Sullivan was at that point too, where it's like, maybe I need a fresh change, a new challenge, a new doubled my salary challenge.
Well, that's, switching
Can't hurt.
employers tends to do that. Yeah,
So
that's interesting.
Tampa Bay Lightning, as well as a franchise that has managed to stay in the thick of things every year. For how long have we talked about them as a contending Stanley Cup team, and the assets that they've turned into, giving up first, second, thirds, and fourth picks all these years. And I don't know, are they at a fork in the road too here? Because they still have guys in their prime and Kucherov and Point.
Right.
But I don't know what happens after next year.
Yeah, tough to know, right? It is. And I think part of if you're a guy like Cooper is you're drafting the next team that you think has got a good run of playoffs ahead of them.
Like,
good core.
It should not be underestimated that Florida targeted Point and Kucherov. Okay. They shut them right down. And there's no question in my mind they're going right after Marner and Matthews. Game
no
one.
doubt about it.
Okay. Get ready, boys. They're coming after you. Better be ready.
So talking about the Tampa Stars, talking about the targeting stuff, I guess they were doing locker cleanout day today in Tampa. And Brandon Hagel had a pretty impassioned speech about what happened to him on the ice.
Yeah, that Ekblad forearm shiver.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I mean, it's a long clip. We'll
I want to
play.
hear it.
It's like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so bear with it. And he's kind of drawn out, and he sounds like he maybe just got hit in the head recently. But listen to the clip, and it's really good.
Love it.
Brandon Hagel clip.
Listen, I know there's accidents in hockey, and there's hits that are made that your shoulder's down, maybe catches a head. The sports of fast. It happens very often, and you don't like to see it, obviously. But I don't know. It's tough because you only got one of the things up here, and I guess for myself I don't know, that was as purposeful as you could possibly see a headshot, to say the least. And if with the situation, with what was going on, of course, yeah, I'm all for it. The playoffs is everyone knows how the playoffs works. Hit their top players, try and do something, but try and do it clean, and hopefully you get a good, it happens in the playoffs. It's the reality. Every player thinks the same. It's not anything different. It hasn't changed. It's been going on for years. It's hard to win a Stanley Cup, and it's hard to do it when all the top players are in the lineup, but I don't think anyone's going out there to purposely try and injure someone, and I thought that was the case on myself, which...
All right, I've had enough. Is there anything else?
No. I mean,
was it just more of that?
No,
did
he
he say anything more?
He went on and talked about how
he
wishes that, if he had a broken arm, he could have played. If he had a broken foot, he could have played. If he had something that was like the headshot. Yeah.
But he also, I believe he said that he's got something coming for him or something like that about Ekblad.
Yeah, but I mean, did he specifically talk about Ekblad?
Yeah, that's what he was talking about there. He just said it. When you cut him off, he was like, yeah, I didn't think that was the case with me.
Okay, why wouldn't he think that was the case with him?
If that's the case, then I guess I don't have a bad memory.
Okay, this is a guy that targeted Barkov.
Yeah.
But the heart and soul of Florida, you took a very healthy run at hurting their heart and soul captain. Where do you think that they're not coming after you? This team, Florida, with all of their bulls, where did you think they weren't coming after you?
Here's the thing from that we didn't get to that I did like was he said,
Play it.
I would have
Play it
answered the
back.
bell if he would have said, let's fight. I don't care if I would have got my ass kicked.
But you don't get to choose how I want to come after you. Sorry, you don't.
Yeah.
And once you cross a line, and he did, he crossed the line. He took out with the intent to hurt Barkov. That's how you hit in the playoffs. You hit to hurt. Okay? Puck's not near you. I'm committed to this hit, whether you have the puck or not, and I'm going to do it. You don't get to choose how a team wants retribution. You just got to show up whenever they come. And I'm sorry, I have no sympathy for Hagel getting a forearm from Ekblad. That's how teams do it. That's how the Florida Panthers do it. Okay? And just be ready.
Greasily.
Just be ready. This is how sometimes you have to make a decision whether or not you're going to hurt your team or help your team. Somehow, some way it works for Florida.
This reminds me of the speech in, did you order the code red from, was it A Few Good Men or something like that? And he's like, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. How dare you criticize the manner in which?
This is the way the Florida Panthers have won. They stick together better than any team I've seen probably in 20 years. Okay?
Yeah. And they get away with murder.
You go after him, you go after all of us. We are going to get you back. That's what they told Hagel. And they did. And you know what? Ekblad and the rest of the team, best 2-game suspension I could ever take. That's what they're thinking today.
Yeah.
And it makes us better, stronger, makes us stick together.
Now, I don't agree with the idea that Hagel doesn't have the right to be mad about it.
Buddy, you could be mad all you want.
So he said,
I don't care.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
And that's just him being mad about it to me. It's like, if you wanted to fight, I would have fought.
Of course you have a right to be
I think
mad, disappointed,
it's
whatever.
coming for Ekblad as the implication. I think there's some foreshadowing.
Where did you not know that that's what happens?
Well, I mean, they were chasing him around. He probably did know, and he just got caught.
But I follow Grant Fuhr. I know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
From Tony Twist and all the rest of them. Pronger, I know what's coming.
Pronger was there too.
Just
to deal with Pronger too.
Hey, just be ready. Just be ready. You hit Barkov.
Mm-hmm.
You knocked him out of the game.
No,
we didn't know whether he's going to come back or not.
Yeah, that's a malicious hit.
I thought he was
Hagel.
done. I thought he was done for the series.
Yeah,
okay.
And
you think you have a right to decide how they're going to get retribution on you?
Yeah.
No, we decide.
Yeah.
Not you.
Yep. Agree.
Yeah. I think you can argue that the Barkov hit, which you guys will disagree with me, was a hockey play. The other one wasn't.
No.
I've said this many times. At the end of the day, as a teammate, I don't care if it's clean. I don't care if it's hockey, not hockey. You try to hurt one of my guys, I'm going to try to hurt one of your guys. And specifically you.
Mm-hmm. It'll be fun playing that game with Florida. You can't play that game with Florida. The Leafs can't play that game with Florida. They will lose. That is not their game.
Hello, boys. Jeff and the Schwa here. Any thoughts on London Knights versus Oshawa Generals? That's the final. Going for the OHL championship.
That's the CFL?
Here's what I'll tell you. The London Knights, featuring the Leafs prospect, Easton Count, they went 12-0 through the OHL's Western Conference. They trailed for 15-56 in one series, 13-59 in one series, and 56 seconds in one series.
Dominant.
Going 12-0.
Vernon Vipers.
Easton Cowan crushing it. So there you go.
What do you think the Hunters do with all that money?
Spend it.
Yeah.
Probably.
No, not on clothes. I know that.
I don't know. It's a problem I'd like to try to sort out once in my life.
Okay, the most successful two human beings in junior hockey history.
Yes, for sure.
It's just unbelievable the run that they've had.
It's been great. Good for them. The attack led for the longest out of all three teams, by the way. What do you think's going to happen tonight? Jets. Game 7?
Game 7.
It's over.
Game 7.
Jets get
talk?
it done.
It's going
All
back.
right.
It's going back to the peg, baby.
Our thanks to Doug MacLean at the top of the hour. Did we have anybody in the first?
No. Oh, the Leaf
just
line
us?
callers.
Oh, the Leaf line callers.
Yes. Courtney.
Hey, how about Sharpie, guys?
Oh, yeah.
So apparently they think
I don't think we have that much time.
They think I'm a kleptomaniac.
You are.
Because I steal your pens. They sent me a ton. Thank you, Sharpie Canada. Really appreciate it. I'm looked after. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we're back on Monday. Real Kyper and Bourne.
Thanks.